Well, I asked you, dear viewers, to choose our final destination for this year's International Journeyman, but I did not expect it to be so close. I called time on the poll at 8 p.m. this evening at the time of recording, and it was a dead heat. But before we go any further, big thank you to everyone who voted. 40 votes, especially this late in the Football Manager 2022 cycle, is fantastic. Now, I know I haven't announced my plans for FM23 yet, but if you want to get in on the early action with the beta version, which is dropping sometime soon after I'm recording this, then make sure you use my fanatical code. The link is in the description to get it for 29% off. But yeah, I've got a video coming on my FM23 plans soon, but this is going to be the final episode of FM22 content from me. So what do we do in the event of a tie in a community poll? Well, as we are pushed for time ahead of the release of FM23, I'm going to cast the deciding vote and call it in favour of Senegal. So why Senegal? Well, this is a team ranked 17th in the world, about to compete at the World Cup, and a great opportunity to wrap up this career in style. And this is a squad we inherit at the end of 2029, still with a few familiar faces. We still have Mendy, for example, in goal, still playing for Chelsea, going strong at the age of 37. Our central defensive pairing consists of Niakate, now at Leipzig, and Abdou Diallo, now at Porto. Koulibaly of Inter Milan offers a physical presence in central midfield, and Ismaila Sarr of Lyon will be our main threat out wide, hopefully setting up a few for Bamba Dieng to finally reach his full international potential. In terms of youngsters, it's perhaps Mudu Koli, a youngster from the Real Madrid youth setup who's most likely to break into the starting 11. But before we even get the chance to see the squad in action, we had to attend the draw for the World Cup. This is, of course, the expanded 48-team World Cup, so we found ourselves in a group of 3 with New Zealand and Spain. Spain, ranked 4th in the world, will be tough opponents, but New Zealand, without wanting to sound too cocky, offer us a great chance to get a win and advance to the knockout rounds. My first games in charge were a couple of AFCON qualifiers, more on those later, before our preparations for the 2030 finals in England. But we struggled in those warm-up games, going down 4-1 away to Portugal, while our final warm-up game against the hosts England turned into a confidence-boosting exercise for Tammy Abraham. But now we just had to shake off the disappointment of those results and get ready to face New Zealand. It was Jackson who had scored our goals in the warm-up games, and he continued that form in this game after getting played through by Collie, and he would bag himself a second 10 minutes into the second half after a fine ball through the middle from Wagyu. Then a wobble as New Zealand mustered one of their first attacks of the game, and Wood scored. No, not that Wood, this one. The wobble became a double wobble as Diallo got his marching orders for a second yellow just after the goal. But despite being a man down, we rallied, and Paris FC youngster Sila got his first goal for Senegal, just his second appearance. We managed to get away with the 3 points. A few days later, Spain entered the competition and beat New Zealand 4-2, and that meant we had already qualified. So the final game then, a dead rubber of sorts. I mean, this 48 team, 16 groups of 3 format is really gonna suck. So the only thing at stake here in this final game was who would finish top, and not finishing top would mean facing England in the knockout rounds. And it just wasn't our day. First of all, this bizarre goal from Ansu Fati, then a second successive sending off as Koulibaly saw red for this challenge in the second half, and luck was not on our side for the second goal either, as we were simply overwhelmed by one of the tournament favourites. So that meant we finished second in Group B, and were faced England in the knockout round. Yep, that's right, the same England that just beat us 4-1 in a friendly. This was not a friendly though, and we came out determined to show our hosts who their daddy was. That was answered appropriately by Papa Sissi on 7 minutes. With our opponents rattled, we had chances to extend our lead. Wagyu and Dieng both going close here, and Diallo wasting a golden chance just before half-time. We would hold our lead into the break, but not for much longer afterwards, after a shocking dive from Reece James earned England a penalty, and him a spot behind Jermaine Defoe and Roberto Ayala on my list of players I don't like because of their actions in Football Manager. Rashford showed he is better at taking crucial penalties in simulated computer games than real life, and we feared an imminent collapse. Our fears seemed confirmed as Jordan Sancho fired in a low shot just after the hour mark. However, we were not done yet as the ball broke down the left to Sarr, His inside pass and Wagu's low cross caused panic, and Tomori turned the ball into his own net. 2-2 then with just over 10 minutes left and a fantastic chance for Sene, who came up short in the one-on-one situation. There was to be one more twist, and sadly it went against us. Playing in what would prove to be his last game before retirement, Mendy was beaten far too easily at his near post as Bellingham scored the decisive goal. And we were out. England would make it all the way through this monstrous tournament to the final, where they eventually fell to France. We would soon be back in competitive action, however. Either side of the World Cup, we played our AFCON qualifiers and racked up the goals as we qualified with ease. Burundi, why can't we play you every week? Our group stage opponents would be Sudan, Burkina Faso and Ghana, a group we could easily win. Surely. Off to a flyer, we smashed 6 past Sudan in our opening victory. Our second match was another massive win, 5-2 over Ghana, a result which guaranteed our qualification for the knockout rounds. But as Burkina Faso were horrified to find out, we did not take it easy in our final game, confirming top spot and our status as one of the favourites to win the whole thing. So with 3 wins out of 3 and 18 goals in the group stage matches, we would face Guinea in the last 16, with a potentially tough path to the final, Ivory Coast, Nigeria and hosts Guinea all being in our side of the draw. The Guinea-Bissau match brought about a rarity in my time as Senegal boss. Only one of 3 clean sheets we would keep across the year as we ran out comfortable 3-0 winners. Ivory Coast were up next, but despite also being one of the favourites, our opponents were no match for us as we steamrolled them in the first half to open up a 4-0 lead. Despite conceding a penalty early in the second half, we maintained control and got the impressive 5-1 win. On to our semi-final clash then with Nigeria. And another impressive start as Diatta reacted fastest to open the scoring, and Koulibaly doubled our lead before half-time. Nigeria pulled one back early in the second half thanks to Kalou, but there was no comeback for them to have as Dieng restored our 2-goal lead less than a minute later. Diallo and Sene completed the rout late on as we registered yet another 5-1 win. A bit of a whirlwind roundup then, but we now have the chance to wrap up this career with a huge achievement, the African Cup of Nations. And our opponents would be Ghana. Of course, we had beaten them easily in the group stage, but this was the final and anything could happen. We went close early on with this powerful header from Miakate. Ghana went close too with this beautiful free kick, just tipped round the post by Mendy's replacement Thiam. We would break the deadlock just after the half hour as a wonderful string of passes through the middle resulted in a fine finish by Pepe Matassar. Dia stole the chance to double our lead late in the half, but somehow missed. Ghana really came at us after the break, and it paid off for them as Ofori's refusal to give up led to this goal. But resilience has been a hallmark of my sides during this save, and right from the kickoff, we worked the ball and the space until Dieng was in a position to pull back to Real Madrid youngster Kohli for the goal. Unlike the last 2 rounds though, we did not push on and open up an unassailable lead. Instead, we faced a tense final 10 minutes as Ghana chased the game hard. Into stoppage time, Ofori had a great chance to force extra time, but Thiam pulled off an unbelievable save, and that proved decisive as we won 2-1, and I picked up the 2nd trophy of this career. So that victory won me all the usual plaudits. Sarr set new records for most assists and best average rating at an AFCON, while Bamba Dieng claimed the Golden Boot and Best Player awards. And that seems like a good place to end things on a high. What a career this has been. So thank you all for watching and supporting. I'm off to check the Steam store page for the 70th time today to see if the beta's been released. And next time you see me on this channel, that's what we'll be looking at.